morning, good afternoon, good evening. It was the Greek philosopher Aristotle who described what he called the political cycle of one form of government changing to another form, and then the cycle comes back again. When you look at it in this day and age, one would be tempted to say it is common sense, because we've seen it happen so many times. This is a description of that cycle that Aristotle was talking about.
Political cycle. A just king rules with wisdom and strength. This is monarchy. But his son inherits power without earning it. He takes whatever he wants. Other men's wives, other men's lives. This is how monarchy rots into tyranny. Then the people must revolt. They overthrow the crown and hand power to the educated and competent, the elite class of society. This is aristocracy. For a time, they govern wisely, but within generations, they hoard wealth, rewrite laws to benefit themselves, and forget the common good. Once again, the people rise up and bring revolution. A government of the people, by the people, for the people. This is democracy. But to stay in power, the ruler must win votes. So leadership becomes a popularity contest. Each new leader campaigns against the last, dividing society deeper. As chaos spreads, a strong man seizes the moment and takes absolute power. The cycle returns to dictatorship. It's not about the system. It's about human nature, which is flawed. Machiavelli.
Oh, that makes sense. In fact, one can say it's common sense. If we agree that common sense is nonetheless not very common, especially in this day and age, when there's so much information and it is easy to find out what's going on. And yet, we still have some societies that are stuck in that cycle. Indeed, I think one can say that those societies that have taken the trouble to understand what Machiavelli called human nature and take the necessary measures to make sure that those in positions of power and authority are always accountable to the people. They have avoided the extreme cases where a just monarch becomes a dictator. A democracy becomes a dictatorship. Where power is invested or limited to a select few. In the case of countries like Zimbabwe, as much as some people would want to believe that Zimbabwe is a democracy, the truth of the matter is we are not a democracy at all. We've never been a democracy. We have never held free, fair, and credible elections in the country's history. 45-year history since independence. Free, fair, and credible is one of the requisitions basic needs, pillars of a democratic nation. We've not taken the trouble to know what constitutes free, fair, and credible elections. And so both ZANU-PF and the opposition have taken advantage of that, given us flawed electoral processes and claimed they were democratic processes. ZANU-PF has blatantly rigged the elections, and the opposition has participated in those flawed elections, telling their followers they can win rigged elections. And so we've been stuck with this dictatorship disguised as a democracy. The problem, and I've discussed it on this platform, is really one of there are three types of human beings out there, according to the Greeks. There is the idiot who doesn't care about anything else, only cares about me, myself, and I. And then there is the tribesman. And the tribesman thinks of only his tribe. And the leader is their God. The third type of citizen, third type of person is the citizen who appreciates the importance of rule of law, of political stability, of doing unto others as you would want them to do unto you. In those societies where the citizen dominate, they have managed to have stable governments accountable to the people, and they've prospered. On the other hand, those nations that have the majority as idiots or at best tribesmen have blundered from pillar to post. They've elected leaders on the basis of he or she is from my tribe. Their competence has become irrelevant. And so they've never had competent government. And when you appoint somebody on the basis of the tribe, you open the Pandora's box, because corruption becomes the norm. You want to appoint people from your region so that you could take advantage of the situation for your own selfish benefit. That has never worked in any society. The level of waste of resources, both human and material resources, is what has undermined those societies. I'd like to conclude this with words from former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, explaining why some nations have prospered while others have not.
Countries are not rich in proportion to their natural resources. If they were, Russia would now be the richest country in the world. Angola would be very rich, and there are many other countries that have a lot of natural resources, but they have not had an enterprise economy to develop those resources. Russia has everything: oil, gas, diamonds, platinum, gold, silver, timber, marvelous soil, but has been poor. She's also, on the second point, got very bad environment, the Aral Sea. I remember going to one communist country in about the 60s and seeing a puddle coming out of a chimney of brown gas, which of course is a nitrous gas. And I was absolutely horrified. I said, well, what are you doing letting that happen? The lungs of the people must be terrible. This is acid. You can't let that go on. Tact has never been my strong point, as you know. And it is the countries that have had the wrong system, which have not created the wealth, have not cared about people. Look at the other side. Japan, no natural resources. Switzerland, no natural resources. Taiwan, no natural resources. It is the political system which enhances the enterprise of the people and gives it a framework within which to operate, which will deal with this poverty.
We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We only have to apply it. I think in this day and age, for any nation like Zimbabwe to be struggling to hold free, fair, and credible elections after 45 years in counting is unforgivable. And we are stuck there for no other reason other than the majority of the people out there haven't even bothered to stop and think, what is it that constitutes free, fair, and credible elections? In this day and age, tragic. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.